This is the unofficial Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures Game podcast. So, strap yourself in,
stay on target,
fly casual, let the Wookiee win,
and more importantly, enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the X-Wing podcast. I'm Ben Curry.
And I'm Ben Johnson.
And in this episode we're going to be talking all about our first visit to the Fantasy Flight Games Store Championships.
Yes.
I'm quite happy about how my day went. Ben's not so happy.
No, not so impressed, I've got to be honest.
Two extremes on this one, but no, it should be some good chat about, what list we took and why, our thoughts on the format, and also, how the day went, and the store as well, Patriot Games in Sheffield.
Yeah. Not been there before?
No, new one for us. So I had a lot of fun. What have you been up to other than the store championships then, Beb?
So we had a bit of a mini tournament at the Merseyside Meltdown, which was a Warhammer tournament last weekend. Again, 60 points. Was it about 14 players?
10, cool. I think it was. I think there was
10?
12, and then two of the people who lost dropped out and went for curry.
That's right,
which was quite fun. But we're going to talk about Meltdown next episode, aren't we? We're going to do a painting and Meltdown on the next show, because you've been painting as well, haven't you? Yeah,
I've done a bit more painting, so we'll talk about it on the next show then.
I think so. You happy with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. But repaints is something you've done yours. I'm probably going to try and tackle that. I think we're taking a different approach though. I'm just going to do the minimum possible to make it look a bit different. And I think you've not gone to town on yours, but you've done some cool stuff on yours.
Yeah, I think a bit more middle of the road for me. Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, got hands on aces.
Got the aces today. Unpack those. They're quite cool.
Picked mine up earlier in the week. There's been some trouble in the UK with getting hold of it. Some stores haven't even, we pre-ordered from Element Games, and the distributors didn't give them any, so, which is, pretty bad. So, Element refunded us, it wasn't a problem. We hadn't pre-ordered since Jan, and I picked them up at our local store, which was quite cool.
Yeah, they had, 4 or 5 of them on the racks at Patriot?
Yeah, we went to Patriot today. They had 4 or 5 on the rack, and he said he's got loads in the back as well. So, it's a bit odd that some places got them, some didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Fantasy Flight a release schedule just baffles me. Coming from a Games Workshop background with, this show you a product and then say here's where you can buy it. Fantasy Flight is a bit more, here's what you're going to have in some time in the future.
Yeah, I can remember talking with a guy in Beeston at a gaming store called Chimera, and he was saying it basically just doesn't really know what he's going to get until a box of ships turns up. Yeah. Which is just so bizarre.
Really bizarre. So you can't even, tell your customers, we're getting some B-Wings in next week. And tons of people have been on Facebook and Twitter saying they're desperate for some B-Wings. And I managed to get some. I just trawled through I just Googled B-Wing expansion and went through every website until I found one in stock and got some. Didn't take too long, but it was a pain.
Yeah.
But, it is a trouble to get stock in the UK, that's for sure. You've been playing any other games? Any friendlies? You've been around Chris's house or?
No, not been to Chris's. It's just too damn far. Played the Misses again. Yep. We played quite a big game actually. So we just used basic ships. We used, I think it was about 6 or 7 ships each. No upgrades, no pilot skills, just all basic stuff. That was pretty cool. Quite
a cool way of getting, teaching the rules and that still, isn't it? And
it was.
Well, Denise has challenged me. When I come home with a certificate, she was like, well, I'll play you, and if I win, I'll take your certificate. I was like, all right. I can't really say no.
No, that's true.
I don't really want to say neither.
Yeah, because she might beat you.
Terrible. Terrible.
Well, we were playing, and I had to stop because we sort of like, well, we'll play for a bit, and then we'll pause it, and then we can pick it up. It's like, oh, no, we can't, because I'll have to take I've got to go. I think we were playing at Derby. So I needed to take the ships with me, and that was a bit of an excuse because she was smashing me.
Nice. Oh yeah, we played at the club, didn't we? Derby War Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you came, took all my ships off, and then wanted to go home instead of giving me a rematch.
Yeah.
Wasn't happy about that. Was not happy. That was Vader coming down to the last, wasn't it?
Yeah, Vader shooting Luke. Or was it Wedge?
I can't remember what I was using that time. Was I using the Hawk? Yeah, I gave the Hawk a run. That was a good one, actually.
Yeah.
So a load of people, after our first episode, I said, I don't really see the point in the Hawk.
Not in the films.
I actually ran him, and I just used the basic one, the Rebel Operative, with an ion cannon.
Yeah.
and I don't think it wasn't very good. It was like a not very good version of the Y-wing.
Yeah, we were talking afterwards, weren't we? That a Y-wing with an ion turret would have been essentially the same.
Maybe a bit better, more hull, better manoeuvres. But I don't think what's good about the Hawk is that build. I think you're better off tooling it up, going with real arc and going for the passing pilot skill 12 to someone.
Yeah.
And then maybe swarm tactics on the one you're passing it to as well. Or Kyle, and that's the focus management, I think that one is. So
yes.
There's some tricks to be had with it. But the problem I see is whenever quite a few people have wrote a list and said, this is really good, try it. But when I look at the list, it all focuses around 1 or 2 tricks. And if that falls apart, then I can't sit. And from what we've played, it's easy for it to fall apart. And from gaming in other game systems, I played Warhammer, I've played 40k, I've played War Machine. If you build your army around one trick, eventually someone's going to say, well, I do this and your trick doesn't work. And
yeah,
that's kind of what I see with the Hawk. You've had that today, I think. So, other than that, I played Steve Wren. I had a really nice list which I'd been putting together. What?
I've just thought, I played Heelan as well.
Dan Heelan, so getting your hooks in him with the X-Wing.
Anti-X-Wing man, but got him.
I've been working on a list which I was hoping to take to the Stoll Championships, which was, the reason I liked it was 4 different, so it was A, B, X, Y. The A was a prototype with, you like that?
Yeah, I remember you telling me about this the other day, actually, and did I not say, is that not like a hard punch in Street Fighter?
Yeah, that's it, definitely. Up, down, left, right, A, B, X, Y.
Yeah.
The A had the assault missiles, the B had advanced sensors, the X, I think, was Biggs, and the Y was Dutch. So they were all, had a bit about, they all did their own, they were all in there for a reason and had their own trick. It was quite balanced, a bit of everything. I quite liked it, but then I played with it and it was just, it lacked the killer edge. It didn't have that, easy button,
Yeah.
the win on easy mode, which will probably win you 1 or maybe 2 games at a tournament just because you've got your trick that worked.
Yeah.
And I think what's good about a lot of the powerful lists is they have that trick with backup.
Yes.
Whereas
backup's important, I think.
Yeah. I kind of had that in my championships list this weekend or today. And a lot of the other lists I played had that as well. They had the one main trick they tried to play for, but they had a backup plan as well in case that trick didn't work. So, and this was, it just lacked that oomph.
Yeah.
It seemed like, again, and the Warhammer reference, I remember years ago they used to bring these comp packs in, and the idea of the comp pack was it would hit the dirty armies in the one area they really needed hitting, but then you bring a middle of the road balanced army and it got hit by every single thing, and when you rely on all the tools to work together and one gets taken away and you lose that, you're relying on the synergy too much and it can be a problem. But that was a really fun game against Steve, and it came down to the Y-wing with Ion just ruining him, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, well, while you were playing that, like I say, there was about 20 people around that table watching that. So me and Dan just grabbed a corner and got a board out, and we just played very basic, just showed him the ropes really. Again, a couple of ties and a couple of interceptors.
I like the fact that you played the basic game, but changed some of the ships out. So you had an interceptor. You both had a tie and an interceptor, didn't you?
Yeah.
Instead of running the X versus the
so I think it was 2 advance and a tie, and 2 interceptors and a tie on each side. Again, just basic ships, no skills, and we didn't use focus, evade, or anything. No actions first time.
So because the basic game is cool, but it's really basic. So playing the basic rules with more ships.
Yeah, basic rules with a few more ships. No actions. Ran through with that. That was cool. Played it again, but with actions this time, and that was good. And that kind of came down to a lot of handbags, actually. You'd finished with Steve by this point and came over, and there was basically 2 interceptors left, just flying at each other and then K-ing, and then flying back at each other, just unable to kill one another.
Is it too soon to ask if you lost both of them once too?
No, I won that one.
Okay, that's all right. It's fine.
Yeah, I won that one. Cheeky.
Oh dear! So I'm never going to let you live this down. The listeners are wondering what I'm talking about. They'll see in the next 20-30 minutes. They'll see. Okay, well, I think that does our intro. We're going to take a break, then we'll come back and we'll talk about the Store Championships over at Patriot Games.
Okay.
So, Store Championships, quite a big deal. It's like the jewel in the crown of the X-Wing season. What was your thoughts going into it then? What was your plan? I suppose lists. We'll start with lists, then we'll talk about event thoughts afterwards.
So I'd not really got that much thoughts, other than at the meltdown, I'd won another slave. So I got 2 slaves. That'd be quite cool. I've heard people talk about 2 slave lists before. Looking at what you can put on them, it's like, actually, you can quite kit these out. And I thought, I've used the advance and the ties in a list before. I thought I'll give this a try. 2 big ships. So I went about sort of trying to kit them out, and ended up with Krassis with assault missiles and a heavy laser cannon. And the heavy laser cannon worked really well on him. And then I went for Kath Scarlet with just everything. All of the things. So recon specialist for double focus, Deadeye, so you can use a focus token as a target lock, photon torpedoes, assault missiles, so you can straight away target lock and focus and fire those off, and obviously the Slave 1 upgrade to be able to take the torpedoes. And each of those ships again came in at 51 points and 48 points each. So all of my points in 2 ships. Theory was, against TIE Swarms, which I really struggled with when we went to Sanctuary, just had no real answer for that at all.
Did you play any?
Played the winner, who took me off.
This time?
This time, nope. Nope. And also, we were talking, weren't we, in the same theory for Biggs. Play the Rebels with Biggs, and they all crowd round him. So if they crowd round him, you can shoot him with your missiles and get everyone around him. Or if they can force him, if they then make the choice to bugger him off somewhere else, so they aren't crowded around, you've kind of won a little bit, because you're making them change their plan.
The problem with the 4 ship rebel list is when they all shoot at you with all 4 ships, it's bad. So if you can cause them to split up on the way in, it's great.
Definitely. So on paper, it seemed great. So I wrote that Friday or Thursday night, and then Friday I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking, you know what?
You were second-guessing yourself in the car all the way up there.
I was second-guessing myself Friday. I was second-guessing myself in the car. I think the main thing was I didn't play a game with it.
Yes, if you'd played one game, you might have seen...
seen the flaws in it and realised that actually, maybe not. And the problem that I thought would happen, which I was talking about in the car, was if these things don't go off, you're buggered. Sure. Even if you're shooting your heavy laser cannons and your torpedoes for 3 rounds, do you know what I mean? 2 torpedoes, 2 lots of laser cannons, 4 dice. Yeah, it's not bad, but you've only got that twice. You're only chucking max of 8 dice per shooting phase. And my worry was it won't do enough. And guess what? It didn't do enough.
Well, the thing I said straight away was you've got so Deadeye's a point.
Yep.
Proton Torps are 4. Assaults are 5 each.
Yep.
So that's 15 points you've spent on essentially firing some secondary weapons.
Yeah.
And one of them is doubling up with the laser cannons, which are 7 points. That 15 points could be Dark Curse or Night Beast or something.
It could quite comfortably have been another ship. I mean, we'll talk about the games in a bit.
Sure.
But having played with it, I think instantly I'd probably lose the missiles off one, the torpedoes off one.
Off the same one or the other one?
Off the other one. And obviously then the Slave 1 upgrade. I think keeping a missile is quite good, because it's actually really good.
Frightens people, doesn't it?
It does frighten people, and if you do play all the ties, it's really, really horrible. The recon specialist with double focus is pretty cool.
You're a fan of that anyway,
I am a fan of that,
I don't like that one. I don't think I'd take it, but I can see your argument as to why you like it.
I think because the fire spray is one of the big ships that's rolling 2 defense dice. So if you double focus and you use 1 to shoot, you've got 1 to defend with. And you get some mileage out of it. Whereas if you got a Falcon, it's only chucking 1 dice. The odds aren't there for it, really.
No.
Do you know what I mean? You might as well just evade with it every time. And then being able to Deadeye for a point to target lock instead of focus when you shoot that missile means you can turn 1 or turn 2. You can target lock and focus, 4 dice. You should be getting hit. So that's the theory behind it. And like I say, straight away, there's 9 points out of the list. So you can move things around if you choose to, or like you say, lose a couple of other bits, and you've got another ship in there.
I think I'd have preferred push the limit instead of Deadeye.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's 2 more points, but you still get your target lock and focus. If you're shooting secondary weapons, you want to be pointing at the thing you're shooting anyway, so you can afford to do the green manoeuvres.
Yeah.
And you're getting the same. And then later in the game, once your secondary weapons are gone, you can then revert to double focus and evade, and it's like a tank.
Yeah.
But
you're absolutely right. Again, if you just lost the Deadeye and the missiles, even if you keep the recon straight away, you don't need Kath Scarlet. You can go down to a bounty hunter. Couple of points there. Again, you're probably getting 2 academies in instead.
What you thinking, Gunner then? You can get Gunner in on both the...
Could get Gunners in, yeah.
10 points. But yeah, there's tons of options.
Yeah.
But I think 2 tooled up fire sprays, in retrospect, not the best way to go. But maybe you could have got away with it by, if you really wanted to run just 2 fire sprays, what would you have done differently? If to make that list work with the models?
I don't know.
Boba Fett with the Navigator?
Boba Fett, yeah, it gives you a bit more manoeuvrability, but it's the damage it's putting out. It just doesn't put out the damage, and that's what I found all weekend. Was,
yeah, sure.
We'll talk about that in a bit. Not rolling the dice and then having poor dice with it just meant it just wasn't effective, not by any stretch. And if I'd have had more ships, chucking more dice, even when you are rolling badly, you can push through that almost. And I think a lot of the things I've just said that I found out in my first game very quickly. It's like, right, shit, I made a mistake here.
Well, we'll get into the games in a minute, but it was pretty bad. You didn't look happy at lunchtime.
No, not best pleased.
Okay, so my list, I didn't go with my ABXY, which was a bit limp and took too much finesse to fly, I think. I went with a more brute force approach, and I decided I really wanted to fly the Falcon. Now, I bought the Falcon, I bought the starter set, you can listen to the previous episode of what I did. Bought the Falcon on my second purchase, and flew it a few times and didn't like it. And the reason I didn't like it was because I went on the internet, got a list, hand shot first, fully tooled up Han Solo, a couple of rookies, and what I found was kind of what you found. Once the rookies are dead, Han doesn't do enough, and people keep telling me he does. He one-shots ties, he shoots again. I just found that he shoots and does 1 or 2 damage, and then he doesn't get to shoot again with his gunner because he's already done 1 damage, and then he gets mobbed. And a good player will deny him his actions, will shoot him with everything, and just generally didn't like him. I also think it might have been down to the fact that I wasn't flying him very well. I was still in the mode of point your ship at the thing you want to shoot, whereas flying a Y-wing quite a bit, I think taught me a lot about flying a Falcon. Because rather than flying the way you need to go, you're looking at not only where you can fly into space, but where the next few turns worth of flying into space come from as well. And so I wanted to give the Falcon another go, but I didn't want to go down that approach of a tooled up. I didn't like gunner on the Falcon. I know a lot of people will tell me now I'm crazy, but reasons are, I played Marcus. He wasn't experienced at all, but he figured out straight away. If you've got a choice between focusing to stop 1 damage or not focusing, don't focus. Keep the focus for your return fire. Take 1 damage. The gunner doesn't go again. Falcon's done 1 damage. Or even if the Falcon does 2 damage, you're not that bothered. So my plan was a naked Chewbacca.
No, because again, that's denied. You've spent so many points on that.
I've spent a fortune on the second shot to make advantage of it, and I'm not using it. So that's the reason I didn't want to tool him up. So I thought a naked Chewbacca, 42 points. It's a lot of points on one ship, but it's not a crazy amount. And if I make my combo ships to go with it really scary, the idea would be they would attract a load of attention, and Chewbacca in the end game should be able to make the difference back. And my idea was I want to use two B-wings as well. I've searched around to find my second B and got one. And so I was determined to use 2 B-wings. And the initial list was like heavy laser cannons, yeah. So that was what I put: 2 blues, heavy laser cannons, and Chewie. Went online, asked on some of the forums and that. Got loads of different advice. Everyone told me to tool up Chewie. Didn't want to do that. And the other option was advanced sensors on the 2. I could have upgraded them to advanced sensors on the blues or upgraded to daggers or done anything, and but I decided to go with the laser cannons, and it was fun to fly. And we'll talk about my games, but I really enjoyed using it. And Chewie with nothing on, I'm a big fan of, and I think I'll fly again.
He takes some punishment, doesn't he?
Takes some punishment. The only thing I'd probably change next time is I'd want expert handling on him, because I was tempted to give him the barrel roll, and so all weekend I was looking what would have happened if I'd got a barrel roll, where could I move to, and my main concern was the fact that I'd spend 2 points and my elite pilot talent slot on an ability that for the most part got blocked. But it looked like I had tons of space for most of the weekend.
So is that you had tons of space because you didn't
never
have
had the
it
option
and
to
nobody was trying to block you?
It's not just that though. If you've so it's a good thing to say how I tried to approach the games and putting the asteroids down. Everyone says you can't fly a big ship through asteroids, and I think that's a bit of a lie. The reason being was that if you place your asteroids in such a way where they're not a real tight triangle, but they're tight enough that a small ship won't really want to go in there. You place it so if the tip of the triangle is towards your table edge, so that the two.
Is this your side of the board or your opponent's side of the board?
So my side of the board is the tip of the triangle, and then it sort of triangles away. So back to the left and back to the right. So the two corners are pointing at their two sides. Then what happens there is they can't really fly into the triangle very easily because of their first point they hit the tip, and normally they were coming from one corner or the other. So when they approached that triangle, they were coming straight into a point of it. Whereas from my side, if I start in one corner or the other, I will be approaching a side edge of it. Okay, sounds crazy, but bear with me.
You might have to draw me a picture, but okay.
If I drive close up to it and then do a force straight through it, normally you can pull an angle which will take you straight through and out the other side of the triangle, meaning anyone that's chasing you have then got that triangle of asteroids to fly around. And what you find, and if you read the forums and the blog posts, and a good anti-big ship tactic is to put a triangle of asteroids in the middle of the board, because then the Falcon can't just fly to the middle and keep turning around. Whereas I just flew through the middle of the asteroids, and I didn't hit one all weekend with the Falcon, but I was spending all weekend flying into the formation of asteroids, and it worked quite well. I was quite happy with how I flew with the Falcon.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
So but that was kind of the game plan. And the other thing with the barrel rolling is if you're going towards that asteroid formation, then they can't come down a flank of you with the asteroids there to block your move. Whereas when you come out the other side of the asteroid off your 3 or 4 move, you can then do your barrel roll, and especially if you go through the asteroids and barrel roll away from them, your shot isn't then going back through the asteroids. So
no, like that.
I was looking at how that would have worked, and I think it could be cool. Also, the heavy laser cannons on the B-wings, I thought that would be quite good. I'd do a lot of damage. Pilot skill 2, they just died. Everyone was tooled up. It was as if everyone was tooled up to fight B-wings, which, they probably were. Particularly blues, and just, all the TIE swarms I fought against were all pilot skill 3 or 4 or even 6. I fought a bunch of black squadrons with veteran instincts. So generally that was my plan. The B's scary firepower, do a lot of damage early on, Chewie to clean up later, and it worked and it didn't. But
good theory.
That was the plan. That was the plan. Okay, so let's get on to our games.
Okay.
So I think we're going to start with your games because we really don't want to talk about them, so we'll get them out of the way, I suppose. Okay. And that sounds terrible, but tell us what the problem is.
Talked about the list a little bit and the shortcomings. And the problem was finding out those shortcomings during the games, an event, as opposed to if you playing your mate, practice game, re-rack really quickly, change some things around. It was just a bit. Been looking forward to going to a store championship.
Really excited, haven't we? Been talking about it all in the run-up, couple of weeks worth. Just not very good. I think the list being a bit weak, and like I said, if you don't get the dice, I think it exaggerates it. So poor list. I mean, I don't think I played it particularly badly. It just
it didn't do what I had in my head of.
So that's a good place to start, and try and make a good thing out of the bad thing.
Yeah.
Really. What was your general plan for how to fly it?
Keep them both together. Keep them quite tight. Not fly off independently and get picked off at one at a time. And mainly making sure that whenever they were shooting, they were always actioned up. Mm-hmm. So focused or target locked or something like that. Try and make the most of it. And I actually think that the high pilot skill really hindered that. And just the two ships.
Because people could block you, you'd lose your actions.
Yeah, so often. And also as well, the large bases as well. You even just going forward one, you travel such a long distance that it's really easy to block them up. Really, really easy. And without those, a little academy tie, nipping in and getting in
the way
space.
First.
Yeah. I played Chris Taylor first game. So he had a shuttle with Vader, 2 academy ties, and a gamma bomber with concussion missiles and a seismic charge. And this was just the start of it, really. So the rounds were, an hour and 15, weren't they? And we got done.
75 minutes.
Yeah, first game got done in 40 minutes, give or take. Flew them forward straight first, and just got... First turn shooting was really good. Not the first turn of shooting, but the first wave of shooting, should I say. Both my ships shot first and took out a bomber. Straight off, missiles and laser cannons. Took the bomber out dead, and it's like, brilliant, okay. This is why I took that. This is what I was expecting it to do. And that was as good as it ever got all weekend. And apologies to Chris, Stevie, Rob and John. I was a bit of a grump because the dice were terrible. Just not hitting with stuff. And my opponents dice weren't particularly amazing. It was just unable to hit with things, unfortunately. And then to really rub it in, the very last game against John, 3 dice to shoot with, 3 criticals, 4 dice to evade with, nothing.
And that was the very last shot to take last damage.
Last thing of the game. So me and Chris finished up really quickly, played another game, and he took my ships off just as quickly. So of a 4-game tournament, I lost 5 games.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So the squads you faced, anything particularly caught your eye?
Chris's was quite good, which we'll get to why that was quite good in a bit. Stevie's was 2 fire sprays, and it's like, I remember saying when the draw went up, it's like, okay, 2 fire sprays versus 2 fire sprays on the bottom table. I think I've made a terrible mistake. His was a little bit different. It was a bounty hunter with laser cannons and a gunner, and then Krassis with heavy laser cannons and a gunner. And he had seismic charge as well. There's quite a few bombs actually this weekend, which I've not...
I thought about that. I played a few
noticed,
bombs.
Yeah. Speaking with John in the last round after the game, and he was showing me a list, and that was 3 bombers.
Just 3 bombers?
3 bombers, yeah.
So it's all the named ones. So was it Reimer, Jensen...
Jones... Is it Captain Jones, one of them?
Jonas,
yeah. All with bombs, all with missiles, quite tooled up. He said it was brilliant. I was like, okay. Not sure,
No, I don't see it.
I've not been impressed by the bomber.
Actually, if you fly over and bomb the crap out of someone, it's fine. But then after that, you just...
Yeah, I worry that it falls in the same problem as this list. Once they've all been gone, what does it do?
Or if you fight, if Wedge comes along with swarm tactics, and you've got 2 ships firing at pilot skill 9, and all of a sudden a bomber don't get to shoot, and
I played Rob with Biggs and Wedge, B-Wing with advanced sensors, and a rookie. That was quite good. The B-Wing was, he was doing a lot of barrel roll first, and then hard left or hard right. A lot of that.
Covers a lot of distance sideways, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, and it really changes the firing angles as well, which was very, very cool. Actually, very good use of that, I thought, as opposed to just the sort of internet standard of focus crash. I thought that was quite good use of it. Really did, really like that. And then last game was Han and Luke in a Falcon with determination, a Y-wing with an ion, just a basic Y-wing, and then a rookie X-wing with an R2.
John came over to our table during this game because determination hadn't done anything, and person who we played, person who travelled down with, Tom, had been saying to him, it's a waste of time. So he comes over and goes, determination, it worked. Against you, of all people.
Yeah,
so it sums it up.
Yeah, sums up my weekend, to be honest with you. Really disappointed, to be honest with you, because like I say, looking forward to it. And yeah, just a bit flat at the end.
So not a sore loser, more just disappointed to lose so easily.
Yeah, I mean, finished last. Not really that bothered where I finished. Obviously, like to do well, like to win. But it was just a weekend ruined a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't feel like you had a chance in any of the games. And, if you felt like you was outplayed or whatever and you lost, then fair enough.
Yeah,
it wasn't like that.
If you feel like you're outplayed, great, because at least you learn something. You get to pick up a few things, especially as we're just starting out with this. Not expecting to wander into store championships and win them. That'd be unrealistic, really, wouldn't it? But yeah, just to be, smashed up a bit. And then have to drive home listening to you all week.
Yeah.
As well.
Drive home looking forward to talking about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
It did make me chuckle. I'm
sure it did.
My games, I started off playing Martin. He's the chap who ran the tournament at the Sanctuary. And we played each other. I'm sure I played him at the Sanctuary tournament as well, and so that was a cracking game. He was running Gendon, I think it is, in the shuttle. He's the one who passes the target lock tokens off.
Okay.
He had weapons engineer on him, so when you take a target lock, you get 2, and then you can pass the token off. And that sort of thing.
There was a lot of shuttles, wasn't there, as well?
Half the field had shuttles.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there was 7 shuttles out of 14 players. Might be wrong, might have been 6, but there was a lot of shuttles. So, shuttle in the first one. I played 3. First 3 games was all against shuttles.
Really?
Yeah. He had Howrunner, 2 Obsidians, and then Dark Curse. And quick exchange early on. I did some damage everywhere, but only killed Howrunner. Did a bit of pain on the shuttle. And it came down to Chewie versus the rest. It was Chewie versus the shuttle, 2 Obsidians and Dark's Curse.
Wow.
And then I finished the shuttle pretty quickly because I was behind him and the tyres were miles away. It took them a while. So once the tyres came back round... Once the tyres came back round to fight Chewie, it was only 3 of them, and I was able to sort of take them down as they came across at me. My dice weren't hot. Neither of us was saying, oh my god, your dice are really good. But I did feel like they weren't bad, if you know what I mean. They were doing as a... I focus, I roll 3 dice, I get 2 hits through. Focus, and that was happening consistently, and it was doing well. There was one point where I think I had 1 shield and 8 health on Chewie, and he had Dark Curse and the other tie on 1 damage, and then Dark Curse just like 3 rounds in a row I didn't get any hits through, and he did a hit to me each time, and I was like, I can see this going bad, and then I killed Dark Curse and finished the next one, and wrapped that one up, so I was quite happy with that. I don't think Martin played the shuttle as well as the other 2 guys did. Second game...
Why not?
Well, we'll get to this. I'll talk about what the other guys did. The second game, he flew it like a ship. Just flew it forward, started shooting me up like you do any other ship. Second game was against James Hewitt, actually, and not the Mantic, or now GW James Hewitt either. Different James Hewitt. I had to do a second take when I saw the entry, the draw. I was like, James Hewitt, he's not here. And it's a different guy. He had 2 bounty hunters and a shuttle. The shuttle had gunner, fire control system, which seemed a common combo.
Yeah.
And then the bounty hunters both had bombs, seismic charges, and can't remember what the name of the ability that lets him look at my dial. So 1 bounty hunter went down pretty quick, and didn't get to do his bombs or anything. Then the shuttle went down, and then finally it was a chase. It was Falcon with him chasing... No, I was chasing him.
Yeah.
I was chasing his final bounty hunter, and Chewie just shot him down.
Yeah, I watched the end of this. He was all critical up, wasn't he? He couldn't really move anywhere.
No, that was it. He'd had to fly through some asteroids, not through them, but through a gap, so asteroids were to the left and the right of him, and I was coming straight at him. So he couldn't fly straight at me because he's low pilot skill, and if he crashed, he'd take a damage because of his crit, and he couldn't do a turn either, because if he did a turn, he'd take a damage. Turns were red maneuvers, that was it.
Right, yeah.
So if he did a turn, then he was facing a table edge, and it was just bad, and I finished him off. But in this one, he played all 3 of them sideways along his table edge. The bounty hunters did I think a hard 2 early on, and the shuttle did 1 bank and then stalled, and then a 1 bank. So the first 4 turns, the shuttle only moved to 1 bank twice. So it was only its own ship length out of its deployment zone by the 4th or 5th turn. Played it really well, saved it till late. And the idea was he runs forward with the bounty hunters, sort of move forward and shoot, split to hard left, hard right, and then I should pass up the middle, and then the shuttle's there waiting for me in the second wave. Didn't really work against me because my heavy laser cannons were content to go quite slow. So when the ship that did come through was Chewie, at 100 miles an hour, blazing. So, but then I played Lee, and I think he played the shuttle the best I'd seen. I think he stalled the first turn, and second he drove into the back of his ties. Then he stalled again and drove into the back of his ties again with advanced sensors as well. So again, he kept him really far back. And again, once I had all the ties to come through, his shuttle was able to then sort of follow my Falcon rather than having the Falcon come straight at him. He was far enough back to be able to... My Falcon, if I wanted to go at the shuttle with a Falcon, the ties had plenty of time to come around and chase the Falcon before I actually got there. So he did a good job of that. He had an interesting list.
Did all the shuttles have Vader?
Lee's shuttle had just Vader and advanced sensors.
Right.
The other two had the gunner and shoot again and target lock shenanigans and things like that. Lee's list was really nice. I liked it because it was the shuttle with Vader and it wasn't gunner. I've wrote gunner on my screen here. It's a lie. It was shuttle, Vader, advanced sensors, and then 5 black Squadron pilots, and they're the ones that get the pilot skill upgrade.
Yeah.
So 3 of them had veteran instincts. So they're all pilot skill 4 anyway.
Yeah.
And 3 of them went up to 6. So it was quite a high pilot skill swarm. I'm not sure on the blacks with vets instincts over having 3 of them at the 15-point named ties. I don't know, but worked well against me. I played him. We were both 2-0. And then we played game 3 on table 1, and he beat me. Then went on to play Chris Taylor.
Yeah.
Chris beat him, but no, good game against Lee. But I did feel a bit like my dice were just going a bit off on that one. And the first pass, I had 2 heavy laser cannons, so 8 dice. I think I got 2 hits out of all 8, and it's a bit. But I also think maybe that I might have got away with stuff in the earlier games and I didn't in the last 2 where I played better players, so I'm not sure. But I felt like this one, even at some point Lee says, "Oh, your dice have been a bit..." My attack dice, I know I'm looking at you and saying this, but you had a crap list which got punished even more. But
compounded by a crap list.
Whereas this one, I thought I'd flown well. I thought I piled all my asteroids in the middle of the table, which people want to do against the Falcon. So I let him, I helped him, and then I really slow played the first few turns, going up and down my deployment, so he has to come through the asteroids. Because I waited until he got the shuttle to a point where he had to turn in with it, otherwise he was starting to be in a spot of bother. And then I turned in, and so I got my opening how I wanted it, everything went how I thought it should, and then after 4 or 5 rounds of exchange, I didn't kill a single tie. It was when I eventually killed the tie, it was my pilot skill 5 Chewie shooting before all these pilot skill 4s to bring down the tie before it was an embarrassment. And it did feel like it was a bit, anything I tried didn't really work. But then I also think when I did get my Chewie over the top and had a chance of flying him away, I think I chose early sort of to bank to my left and then go around to the left, rather than if I chose the other way earlier on, 3 turns ahead, I should have seen that would have been in a better position, rather than having the shuttle chasing me. I'd have had to turn more with the shuttle. So maybe I missed a few things as well, but it did feel a bit like my dice were well off in that one, and ended up I could have played it better, I think. But no, definitely a nice list, and good game against Lee. It was nice that we were both chilled on the time as well. We could both spend the first few turns just messing around up our own table edges, no rush to turn into the middle. Whereas when it's the 60-minute time, it's like frantic, get in the middle, do some damage, get the win as quick as you can. Whereas 75 minutes, it was like no rush. This game's going to be finished easily.
Yeah, it did seem... I mean, I don't know if we mentioned it when we talked about the Sanctuary event, there was a lot of waiting around there, and I'm sure they were only our rounds at the Sanctuary. I felt, I mean, I took 4 ships to the Sanctuary, so 2 ties, advanced, and a slave, and felt like there wasn't rushing, just finished games, and you know, we were quite a bit of standing about. But here there was, I mean, I know I took a smaller list and got taken off quite quickly, but there was an awful lot of waiting. Yeah. I think that was very similar to everyone. But you mentioned there about it being quite relaxed, quite chilled. I thought the whole day was like that. Super chilled. Even my last game, you know, we're playing for places, I suppose. We're not going to win the tournament, but both of us had a chance at finishing quite high, 3-1, with a good strength of schedule. And I played Tom Reed, and he had 2 X's, 2 B's, Reds and daggers, so they're all pilot skill 4, advanced sensors on the daggers. Nice list, really. It's kind of like the World Championship list with Biggs and a rookie, but different pilot skills set up. Really nice. He played it better than me, I think. Again, I got my setup. I delayed him. He had to split his formation up quite a bit to come through the rocks. And before we had the exchange, we moved after the exchange. Before we rolled any dice, I was like, "How do you feel about this?" And he's like, "I don't know." So I'm not happy, and I'm like, "I'm not sure either." And neither of us were sort of. And he sort of said, "I think you've played it right, bringing me in." And then we rolled the dice, and he killed a B-wing, and that was like, yeah, B-wing dead before I get to shoot. Yeah. But I had a focus, I had eyes on the table, chose not to use it, because I wanted to use it when he bangs my hull, because I want to stop him getting the crit through. And then when he does hit my hull, he gets 3 hits, and I don't roll a focus, and he does all 3 hulls in one firing, and my own fault. I should have used the focus. I got greedy. I thought, if I want to win, I've got to try something here. Yeah. And after that, it was 4 ships versus 2, and he just was saying, Warhammer, dispel what's in front of you. Yeah, throw it at what's in front of you, and I should have done that. But he did say, he said, I think I'd have done the same. Took the risk and gone with it. But yeah, I brought a B down pretty early. Like the second exchange, one of his Bs went. But by then it was like Chewie had taken some damage. My second B had taken some. My second B couldn't get out of the way anyway. He was sort of in the middle of everything. I had a couple of moves where I moved him in. I felt good about the move, and it was just like advanced sensors. He can step out and just shoot, and but no, I had a good, really cracking. All my games really good, particularly the last 2, which are normally the ones you'd think would be the tense and catchy ones. But no, well, really good. I watched a bit of you and Tom. And again, that was very relaxed, very good. Like you say, playing for places. And then watched some of Lee and Chris. Well, watched quite a lot of Lee and Chris actually towards the end. And again, Chris played it really well. Yeah, definitely. Good list, I think. So the winning list was Chris Taylor. With, what was he flying? So we had a shuttle with Vader, 2 Academy ties, and then a Gamma bomber with concussion missiles and seismic charges. And Turfanier. Oh, and Turfanier, yeah, I forgot about that. Turfanier with push the limits, yeah. Yeah, so quite a nice combo, because everyone wants to focus on the shuttle, but then you've got the bomber there, and it's like, bomber can be scary if it unloads everything. And well, to be honest, the shuttle, when he played me, was very much fly along, shoot at something, Vader crushes it. Fly along, shoot at something, Vader crushes it. And then it dies. But Vader's done 2 or 3 crits to you. Vader's done 2 crits. He's done 1 or 2 damage with his guns. And very good. And it's 24 points. It's dirt cheap. It's nothing, is it? And Turfanier, the 2 games me and Chris played, just stayed on one side and came sort of. And it's not even really a long game. We were talking about it a little bit in the car, weren't we? He's so quick. Do you know what I mean? Flies 3 banked, boost, barrel roll. 3 banked, boost, barrel roll, and he's shooting at you. Yep. Right behind you, high pilot skill, coming out of fire arcs with his ability. Yeah, really impressive. Yeah. Chris definitely played it well. Yeah. Deserved winning, I think, by all accounts. So. Yeah. Okay, well, that's the Store Championship. Any more thoughts? Venue, I suppose? The venue was nice enough. Nice little store. A little cramped. Yeah, they're asking for some feedback. They said they used to run a few tournaments, then the attendance dropped off. They're looking at getting into some more, so I think we're going to fire our feedback over, let them know our thoughts. Drop them an email. Nice enough, I think I'd go back. A little frightening going downstairs, watching all the Magic players. That was a bit... Yu-Gi-Oh players, actually, yeah. Was it you who said,
Who? What? What's that?
that?
You're saying a word to me I don't understand.
Very odd. But no, nice enough little venue. Easy to park, and there was decent food as well, wasn't there, down the road?
Yeah, definitely. One thing we both said was a bit disappointed with the prize support, wasn't we?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if this is us being spoiled with the Warhammer background, and also the X-Wing tournaments that we've ran and Marcus ran with Element Games support. But I don't know, it felt like Fantasy Flight Games, and it's a big, the store championships.
Yeah.
And you got, as bad as it sounds, you get a plastic stick and a cardboard box.
Yeah, so first and second got a cardboard card box, which was literally just a cardboard box. I was looking at it and it was a bit like, I thought it was plastic and hinged, and it wasn't. You got the plaque was nice that you got for winning the store championship. That was quite nice. Like you say, you got a plastic range ruler.
You got an acrylic range ruler, which I suppose, I don't know is it engraved with the Fantasy Flight logo? And
it's got the Fantasy Flight logo on, and it says 2014 store champion.
Right, so the only people who got them are the store champions.
Yeah, and they gave those to
top four.
We all got a 10-num B-Wing card for participating, which was nice. The only thing I came away with. But yeah, it did feel a little bit like, is that it? Yeah. But I do think that's us being spoiled.
Because we went to... We ran one at Sheffield, and Marcus ran one at the Merseyside Meltdown. So Friday night of Warhammer events, for those that don't know what these tournaments are. And we normally have between 10 and 15 people. I spent 70 quid on prizes, I want to say.
Something
Plus
like that.
we had 25... The total was 90 quid's worth of prizes, retail. And that includes £25 worth of vouchers off Element Games, plus a bunch of ships, which I got from Element Games, and I saved 15% discount on, I think, maybe 10. So I had a shuttle and 3 small ships, and Marcus did exactly the same. And that was for £5 entry fee and 10 players. So, I don't know, maybe we have been spoiled and we're expecting more, but when it's got the big Fantasy Flight Games label on it and all that, I don't know, a bit... I'm not disappointed because I didn't go there to win prizes, but I thought, maybe... Especially when you've got a store like the Patriot Games guys were saying, we've had a lack of attendance, we want to get more people to come to our events, and, throwing 50 quid's worth of prizes on top of what the store championship was offering might not have been a... But then I don't know the format, I don't know if the hands are tied by Fantasy Flight.
No, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, I've no idea either. How do they have to pay for these packs? So, we all got these 10-num cards, the plaques. I don't know if they have to buy that from Fantasy Flight as a pack, or whether that's something that Fantasy Flight supply. I don't know. But it did. It was one of our first comments, wasn't it, as we were wandering back to the car, that it seemed a little bit lacking. Which again, I don't know if that's down to us being spoilt with Warhammer and the tournaments that we've run. One thing they were saying about Attack Wing, the Star Trek one, which I'm glad I've not seen yet, is apparently you can win different ships and different cards that you can't get anywhere else other than that.
Upgrade cards for your ships and
that
stuff
are
like
apparently amazing.
Tournament only, yeah. So winners then go on to win because they've got the amazing stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd like that. I think that's a bit much.
Bit heavy going.
Yeah, unique stuff that you can only get. So the range rulers, like you say, bit of kudos.
And the alternate art cards.
Art cards, I really like them. They're very cool. But something that no one else can get that you use in game and is really powerful. Not sure about that.
No, definitely not.
Not sure about that at all.
Okay, so that's our store championship wrap up.
But sounds a little bit negative, but we would go back again.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Yeah. Overall, I had an awesome time. I had a really good day today. You picked me up at 8:30. I was in my slippers still at 20 to 8:45 when you were like, "We're going or what?" I'm wandering around in my slippers, eating my toast. Proper relaxing. It was a steady drive up. We had a coffee on the way. Yeah. Really nice. We got home about 6:30. Good day out. I had a lot of fun. Definitely looking for more X-Wing, especially the one-day format. I really like it.
Yeah.
I will definitely go to Patriot Games again. I think you will as well. I think as much as you're fed up at the moment, I think if we were recording this in 2 days' time,
you probably
you'd have a different outlook on it. But no, I had a cracking time. So we'll go for a break, and then we'll come back and we'll get things wrapped up.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.
And we're back. So, so you're just going to you want to talk about evolution of your list, don't you, that you've used at the weekend?
Yeah, a little bit. So the whole idea this weekend was I want to use Chewie and 2 Bs.
Yep.
And loads of people said, "Oh, don't use Chewie, use something else. Don't use Bs, use something else." I want to use Chewie, 2 Bs. Having played with that and got it out of my system, can make some tweaks. Now the obvious one is keep it how it is. Advanced sensors, like what Tom had on the 2 Bs. Probably advanced sensors and daggers. That's 5 points per ship. Leaves me 2 points per ship because I've dropped the 7-point laser cannons. Expert handling on Chewie, I think that'll be a blast, and that leaves me 2 points. I could leave it at that to go 2-point initiative dash, or 2 points on some. I don't think there's any other two. I could have a 2-point crew. 9 num. Oh, that was the one. You had the card in your hand before we started recording. 9 num and 10 num. They're brothers.
They look the same.
Or all the people with a funny looking face are all called Num. Or
can't say that.
I don't know. But yeah, Nin Num gives you the a 3 and 4 straight ahead is a green, so then I can barrel roll forward head, barrel roll forward head, and that would be quite cool. And the Millennium Falcon upgrade as well. So that's one option. The other option, which I think would be really cool, would be to do the same again. So it'd be Chewie with expert Chewie with expert handling, and you got a point spare in this list, and then 2 green Squadron and 1 prototype A-wings. So it's all really fast and zippy. The Falcon's a big target because they'll think, oh, the A-wings aren't going to do much to me, and you can kind of play to that with the Falcon. You can play it really defensively, sort of rather than trying for the optimal shot, just trying to keep him out of the way with that barrel roll. And you'd probably want, see, it's toss up. You can go for the Millennium Falcon so you can evade, but you'd probably want Nin Num then, because you can do the 4 straight ahead and barrel roll, and then 4 straight ahead and barrel roll again, and really get out of the way. While he's doing that and is a big distraction, and always shooting as well, your A-wings are just zipping about. Pilot skill 3, 2 pilot skill 3s, 1 pilot skill 0, pilot skill 1 on a prototype. I think that could be quite fun. So 2 ideas there.
Yeah, all the A-wings would be quite cool.
But mostly, that's all never going to get played because aces.
Yeah, I mean, just hitting on the evolution of mine, I mean, spoke about it a little bit earlier. I think I'd give the 2 fire sprays another go, but certainly wouldn't kit them out as much.
You think 2 bounty hunters with something and
possibly
an interceptor?
Yeah, possibly. Certainly some more ships in there.
I think as well, 2 bounty hunters and then that interceptor who denies the actions could be really cool. I don't know if you'd fit them all in. You should do, because he won't be more than 30 points.
No, not more than 30 points.
No, 30, 66. So yes, if he's more than 33, I suppose.
No, he's not more than 33.
No, there you go. No, you're well away then. You can even tool up the bounty hunter some, and it's worth a try.
So I'll have another play with it at some point. But yeah, like you say, aces. Chin up.
So we've got some bit of a forward plan now, haven't we? We kind of know what we're doing for the next few episodes. So get your feedback in and let us know. These are going to be the topics, so let us know kind of the things you want to discuss. Everyone's asking us to write some lists, even though we kind of think that we're the blind leading the blind. Particularly, 2 wins between 2 of us at a store championship. Yeah. Out of 9 games, we had 2 wins between us. I'm giving you a bit of credit because they were both mine. I didn't have to say that. But even if we are totally wrong in our assumptions, it'll be interesting to still hear our thoughts on getting there.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'll be all that wrong, to be honest. So we're going to talk about aces and make some aces-based lists. So let us know what you guys are thinking of flying. However, I think we will be recording that before you hear this one. One of the things you guys probably don't realise is we get together, record a couple of episodes and put them out, and then a couple more, because it's easier than meeting up every fortnight. So we've got the aces and my birthday. We're having a birthday get-together, a day of gaming down the local club.
Yeah, I mean, it should get us 5 or 6 games in, shouldn't it?
Playing X-Wing, got to run the Aces. I'm going to run some different Aces lists. So are you. I'm going to be running a Shuttle and some of the Interceptors. I think that'll be really fun. Kind of like what Chris has just run, I think. So the Shuttle with Vader, a couple of TIEs, and then 2 Interceptors instead of the Bomber and an Interceptor.
Well, that could be quite interesting.
I'm going to give that a go. And then the next episode after that, we're going to talk...
Do I not get to say what I'm going to use?
Oh, sorry, go on then.
I think I'm just going to use 4 Interceptors.
Oh, you just wrote a list downstairs, yeah.
Yeah, the 4 named Interceptors.
No upgrades, just the 4 named Interceptors.
Yep.
I like that.
Aces pack.
Yeah, I really like that. And start with that and then make some tweaks and see how it goes through the day.
Yeah.
Cool. Definitely like that one. Then we've got a painting episode. We're going to do a couple... repainting your ships and also painting the gaming table because you've done a ton of them.
I've done a ton of them.
10 of them.
12, I think.
12 of them. 12 gaming boards, and normally it's like 6 boards in 2 evenings.
Yeah.
So it's a super quick turnaround. So we're going to talk about how you get through them. I've done one. You've done a load of repaints.
Yeah,
done a really good job of them.
Stuff has all been
I
repainted.
think look cracking. You can see all them on the Facebook page. Also, I'm going to have a go at repaints, but a different approach. You've you've not really gone to town, but you have done everything. You've started with the base of the ship, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've used the ship as it comes out of the box as a base coat, essentially, and worked it from there, as opposed to...
Some people just spray in black and start again, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to kind of do what you did, but I'm just going to...
even less work.
Yeah, paint the engines and paint the... Yeah, bit less work. The minimum needed to make it look a bit cooler.
Yeah.
And, so then hopefully we'll have my basic level, your sort of like mid to high, and then we might talk about some of the real high stuff that we've seen online and whatnot. And then the episode after that, we're going to talk about the 60-point formats, aren't we? Because I think we're both a big fan of these.
Yeah, they're really good, really fast, really dirty. Interesting lists as well, I think. It's a different sort of mentality with your list. Yeah. It's 45 minutes. We play 3 or 4 rounds. It's really fun. And what we're going to do is we're going to put together a rules pack. So if anyone wants to run it, they can just go and take our pack, and it's dead easy to use. Everything. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to do a show on that. So if you get any more 60-point or painting, any ideas on that, send them in. Let us know, and we'll answer some of your questions. Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Makes it easier for us, doesn't it?
Wraps up another one. So thanks to everyone who's commented on the YouTube videos and messaged us on the forums. I'm kind of getting in the swing of things now. So the place to be is kind of the YouTube channel. I watch that all the time. We're on Facebook, all the pictures and stuff go on there. But I'm always on the Fantasy Flight Games forums. I'm hanging out on there a lot at the moment. There's some really cool stuff on there. So if you post on there, any of those places, you can catch up with us. And we're on Twitter as well. Yeah, Twitter's a big one. Team Covenant as well, we'll post up on there. Anywhere you want to find us, just look for X-Wing Podcast and you'll be able to get hold of us. Or Ben Curry, and I think you're going to sign up for some accounts as well, yes, Ben Johnson. Yeah. You can just get hold of us any way you like, really. It's pretty easy. And let us know your thoughts on our upcoming topics. Or your thoughts on this one. Yeah. Maybe send Ben some cheer-up messages. Yeah, some happy pictures or something like that. Okay, guys, thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks, everybody. Bye.